The Never Quit Podcast, sponsored and hosted by Quotes Jungle, with your host, Quote.
Welcome to the Never Quit Podcast. In the studio with me, I have Destani.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Tell people a little bit about yourself for those who can't see you, because this is a visual and audio podcast. So explain yourself for somebody who can't see you.
Hello. My name is Destani. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. I work out. I'm a Denver native. I don't know what else to say.
Talk about motherhood. What do you like most about motherhood?
I just like being a mom. I like having a person that I created. Other than that, it's hard as hell. I would not recommend.
Talk about some of the challenges as a mother.
Watching your child become a reflection of you, whether it's the good parts of you or the bad parts of you, the emotional parts of you, the playful parts of you, the negative and the positive. They tend to adapt to it, even if you don't show it to them.
Talk about some of your childhood if you're willing to share it.
My childhood was crazy. I grew up from 2 different parents. My dad lives in the country of Virginia. My mom lives out here. I am the middle child to 7 siblings. My mom, we moved around. I went to like 13 elementary schools. She was in an abusive relationship. We moved all over the United States, and then I grew up. I became an adult at like 10, if that makes sense.
Explain why you felt that way, that you became an adult at 10.
When you have unstable parents and you have younger siblings, parenthood tends to rub off on you. And I had 2 younger siblings that lived in the home. So when my parents would go out or go to the club, even at 10 years old, we were in charge of babysitting them. There wasn't a babysitter. It was don't open the door. So I consider myself an adult very young.
So how did you do in high school or maybe grade school growing up? Because you did go to college, correct?
I did.
Okay. Tell us about that.
My first 2 years of high school, y'all, they were hard. I was bad. I was not going to school. I was fighting. I was getting sent to my dad's house. I was getting sent back. I was getting sent to aunties' houses. I just wasn't really acknowledging the importance of it. And then I ended up going to a private school, going into the start of my 11th grade year, and turned it around, y'all. I graduated valedictorian.
Where'd you go to college, if you want to talk about that?
I went to Florida State, and then I got pregnant, and I transferred out to CU.
Let's talk about your first pregnancy.
What about it?
Where you were in life and where that changed your life, obviously, because you were in college and then that was your first child of 3. So let's talk about how that changed your life for those who might not understand what that is and to go through.
It changed me, honestly, for the better. I was 18 when I got pregnant. And being 18 and pregnant, although you're considered an adult, I wasn't an adult. I was just out of high school, wasn't even aware of really life. I had just got my first bill, just bought my first car. So then I threw into it, and it was my realization. It was my, oh shit, like, let's get right. Let's do something with our life. Otherwise, I probably would have partied out of college. I would have dropped out of college. I would have partied out. I wouldn't have went for a career path, and then I would have been a bottle girl.
Let's talk about your first child leading into your second child, and you see where I'm going with this.
Doubling 2 was crazy. 2 was insane. And it was 2 with 2 different people. So then I added in a second partner, which means I added in a second family. And at that time, it's still like that. I was in charge of 2 different households, 2 different families, and had to combine them together. And that was a challenge within itself. That pregnancy is where my pregnancy started to go a little bit harder. I was also pregnant by somebody who was of status, so they just weren't around.
No, we're saying names. We're not going to do that. By who?
I was pregnant by this football player named Javon. At the time, he played for the Raiders, I think, when I was pregnant. He ended up full circling back to the Broncos. So we were pregnant, and I actually didn't live here anymore. I had moved to Houston and had my little girl in Houston. And having 2 daughters made me actually never want kids again.
Okay, with that being said, let's talk about the third child and how that happened, especially if you felt that way.
The third child, I don't want to call him an accident because I love him to death. And anybody that knows me knows every time I got pregnant, I prayed and prayed and prayed that it was a boy. I just wanted a boy. It was my most adulthood relationship. It was my most adulthood just situationship in general, to where, although I didn't want kids, when I found out I was pregnant, although we did have the conversation of abortion, and when we decided to move forward with it, I actually felt full circle, because this was I have a career, I have stable money. At the time, my relationship, I thought it was good. I was wrong. I was in a relationship with another football player. And when I found out I was having a boy, it kind of came full circle to me. 3 kids became quite a lot pretty quick, though, because it wasn't like my third kid was here and my life was changing. My life changed in my pregnancy, and it was, I no longer can tend to my other 2 kids because this baby that I'm carrying now needs me more. And that was a devastating disagreement with myself.
Okay, not everybody's relationships can be judged clearly, respectfully, how yours has been publicly, because you have 3 babies by football players. So some people will consider that a jersey chaser or a gold digger. What do you have to say to that?
I wouldn't categorize myself in that, because of the situation that a lot of people get it misconstrued. When they hear that you have babies by all these people think that, oh, well, you don't work, you're living off of their money. If we're going to be honest, none of my children's fathers are on child support. I have a job. I have the same job that I had graduating from college, that I've made into a career that I went to school for. I take care of my kids solely by myself. It's a taste preference, and I feel like everybody has their own preference. Mine, unfortunately, in this day and age, when you see a athletic, fit, I like black man that isn't going to be somebody that wants to live off of you, there really isn't too many career choices that you're going to see them in. Unfortunately, most the ones that you're going to lean towards is going to be an athlete. If they're not an athlete, they're a trainer. If they're not a trainer, they might be a sports therapist, or they're leaning along the lines of something in sports. And me, I'm athletic. I went to college on a sports scholarship, so just going into it, that was just what I attracted. And as I got older, that's what came with it. They just morphed into a higher part of their job, like you would in ours.
Can you explain to the people maybe the gap in between your kids, sort of maybe make more sense to people? It doesn't need to make sense, but you see what I'm saying?
Like the age gap?
The age gap, yes.
So I have a 5-year-old, and then I have a 2-year-old, and I have a 6-month-old. So my closest is going to be my 2-year-old and my 6-month-old.
Because a bigger perception for everybody else, there's lots of people who have kids by different people. You're clearly judged because they're at a higher level and successful people and considered people who have money. So people who aren't familiar, I'm going to need you to say the names in order, and then I'll go with my next questions after that, please.
Of the dads?
The dads, yes.
Okay, so I can't say one because we do have a court agreement, but you can Google it. And then you have Trayvon Marshall, and then you have Eli Apple.
With that being said, what attracts you to labeled black men that are football players every single time if your situations haven't worked in the previous relationships?
Honestly, so when I got with my first one, he was not a professional athlete. We were both young. We were both in college. Headed towards that path, did we actually think that he was going to go somewhere? We didn't. He was always injured, and then he went somewhere. And the second one, it wasn't a relationship. We were literally just messing around. It was sex. It was sex that turned into a one night oopsie daisy, and we were both on the stance that we weren't for abortions. The third one, it took a lot for me to get into that relationship, and I told him that he actually had tried to be with me when I was with my second daughter's dad, while messing around with him, and it was a moment where I hadn't messed with any athletes, but let's double back. He was adamant. He wanted to go on dates. He wanted to fly out. He just swore he wasn't gonna do ultimately what he did, and like a dummy, I took it. I'm good though. I don't do athletes anymore, for the record.
Okay, you don't do athletes anymore. What do you prefer now? The people want to know.
I haven't found that yet.
Okay.
My kid's too fresh. My relationship's too new.
Okay, you have been public and very vocal about some of your previous relationships. Are you willing to name some of those people? Because you clearly didn't get pregnant by everybody.
No, I didn't. I mean, like everybody knows, my last relationship was with Eli. That's the most
Eli who?
Apple. That's the most known one. That's the one that everybody's gonna find pictures of me with. You'll see my name associated to Mr. Josh Jacobs. We were off and only entangled for quite some time. I mean, the list could go on. As far as relationships, or like just talking to relationships.
Just be as blunt or say whatever you want to speak.
Relationships, guys. I've publicly dated 3 athletes. Dalen Dawkins, which is my ex-fiance. And then from Dalen, it was Josh, and me and Josh started off as best friends that tried out a relationship for a very short time, and it just didn't work. And then Eli. Me and Eli were together for my longest stride, and that's my son's dad.
Where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now?
Oh, Lord. Hopefully I am no longer working for anybody, and I have started my company, and I do want to have a foundation. I have, special needs kids, so I want to start a foundation within special needs. I want to start a sports one. Hopefully get my kids well educated and culturized. All of my kids come from different backgrounds, and I want everybody to live a extravagant life, and in 5 years I'll be 30, so hopefully very stable and well refound.
Do you have any regrets in life?
Yes, and I will say, and I don't want this to come off in a bad way, because I know that some people are going to try, but having kids was a step back for me, and I don't want to call them a regret, because we'll say two of them, and I don't want to say I regret having them, but it was a regretful situation in which I had them. My first one, she was the one I needed. She was my grow the fuck up and get your shit together, and I'm very thankful that I had her. The ones following her were more regretful, because I wasn't full circly ready to have multiple people or responsibilities. And I'm very selfish. I was very selfish with my time. I don't feel like I gave my oldest enough time with me. We didn't know each other. So then you throw in another one, and I think that chronologically can mess up a child. And then you throw in more, and I made my plate full too fast. I made my plate full with multiple responsibilities. I made my plate full with opening myself to multiple families. I would probably not call it as regretful if all of my kids were by the same person, but when you have multiple partners and multiple households, things become a little difficult. I also regret going very public with my situations, because the world is a crazy, refrowned, depressing place, and people use it to be very ugly and unkind. And ultimately, it doesn't matter if you're the victim or what you are in a situation. People are going to drag the fuck out of you, and people are going to run with their own story and make an image of who you are. And that was probably my worst mistake.
Explain why you think you went public at the time.
But the relationships or the situations that followed?
Both.
The situations that followed my relationships, it took a lot. I called and I talked to, if we're going to be honest, I talked to Eli's family. I talked to Eli's family before I went public with the wrongdoings in our situation. I talked to his teammates. I was always profound and respectful, even though what he did to me and my son was one of the most disrespectful things that you could do. Came to the point to where it was, I have to go public with this because this is the only thing that this person responds to. And that's sad, because nowadays I want it to be very private, but you have to go public with certain situations, because some people only respond off of the energy that they get fed through social media. They can't be soul-filled people without it. And so I had to stoop down to that level to get that point across. My relationship itself, I went public with my relationship because, honestly, y'all, I was in love. I thought that was going to be my relationship. I thought that was going to be my end game. That was not my end game.
Explain to the people What you would tell 15-year-old Destiny as an adult now?
I would have told 15-year-old me to get the fuck together. Even though you're a kid and you don't know right from wrong, or you're still learning, I would have told me to pay attention to the company I was keeping, to the friends I was keeping, to the education I was bringing myself, and to go from there. I look back at it, and the friends that I had in high school, I actually don't talk to any of them now. 3 of them are in jail. One of them shakes her ass for rappers in Atlanta, and a few of them have died. And I tell myself, this is a situation where you might have got it together, but you didn't get it all the way together. And if you had got it all the way together, you probably wouldn't have became a teen mom. You probably wouldn't have gone for the quarterback of high school and followed that through to college. You would have paid better attention. You would have set expectations for yourself and standards for yourself. And as a child, we don't think about having standards for who we are, but I would have definitely told 15-year-old me to set standards and realize who I was or who I thought I was, and then work my way around that.
What is the biggest misperception that you think people have of you right now as an adult with the stuff that's out there publicly?
Oh, then I'm a gold digger. People think I'm a gold digger. People think I jersey chase. People think if you put me in a room with athletes, I'm folding. They think I trap men for their money, or I have babies for money. I've heard it all.
What are you doing to prevent that so it doesn't seem that way?
I honestly do nothing, because even if I work my ass off or can show somebody some court documents and it's like, oh no, not on child support, or some text messages and it's like, oh, I don't want your money, or more text messages where it's like, no, you're not going to have an abortion, you're going to have this baby, people would still find a way to turn it against me. So you're either going to view me bad or good. It's up to you if you want to view who I am as who I am, or if you want to view who I am as who you think I am. That's on you.
Hot or cold, and why?
Hot.
Why?
Because you can make yourself colder. I don't like being cold.
Favorite color, and why?
Any earth tone, because they're calming. I can't pick one.
What is the biggest life lesson that you've learned thus far in life, like right now?
It's going to keep moving. It's going to keep moving. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how great it gets, no matter how many conversations you have where it just feels like it's the end, or something's going to die down, or you're done. Life is going to keep moving. It might take time. It might take months. It might take hours. It might take seconds. It's going to go in the path that you foreseek itself.
Do you cry? And if you do, how do you feel about crying?
Yeah, I be getting my ugly cry on. I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with it. If you don't cry, you get angry. And I've seen the angry side of me because I was hurt. And I've seen the angry side of me because I was angry. And I'm more scared of the angry side of me when I'm hurt than just me being angry. So I'd rather be a crybaby and get it out.
I know it's really hard being a mother, and it's something that you can't escape, especially because you're a working mother. What do you like to do in the small free time that you do have?
I'm a mom that supports 420. Okay. So in the free time that I do have, I am in my 420 moment. My free time is very short. If I have prolonged free time, then it's something as simple as I'll go to the gym, or I will go and drive just in the mountains, or I'll go get my nails done. Just something that's going to be relaxing to me. Even shopping, I'll go to Target and spend 3 hours in Target because I don't have my kids. If I'm at home and it's a spurts moment from the time my kids go to sleep to, the 3 hours later when my 2-year-old or my newborn are waking up for a drink or a bottle. In those 2 hours, it will be a bubble bath with the whole bottle of wine will be gone. But it's meaningful. I'll listen to a podcast. Me and Pinterest go crazy.
Where's your favorite place to travel that you've been thus far, or that you maybe want to go, actually?
Aruba. Aruba was beautiful. That I want to go. I want to go to Egypt really bad, and I want to go to Greece.
You said you're a 420 person.
Yeah.
For those who know what that means, can you explain when you started, if you remember? Or your first experience? Give us a story about your first experience.
I was lame, y'all. I didn't start smoking weed until my senior year of high school. And it wasn't even smoking weed. I tried weed. I was with my best friend, and we were with two of our other guy friends, and they were like, well, we're going to go smoke. So we think we were just going to go smoke. Mind you, this is my first time. I think my best friend Taylor, she might have been pretty experienced in her crazy wild days, but we go in. This wasn't just like a little whiteout. They had a backwood. They had two backwoods. They hotboxed the car. I'm in the car dying. I'm in the car before I even get the blunt. By the time I get the blunt, I mean, eyes red, tears coming. I'm lightheaded. That's how I knew I was high. And then I had to walk home, y'all, and go to my grandparents' house. I laid on the grass and took a nap. I remember very vividly.
Do you prefer clothes or naked, and why?
Like half and half, like a shirt with no pants. I can't just be naked because I feel dirty, but I can't just wear a whole bunch of clothes because I feel uncomfortable.
Explain being dirty.
And I'm sorry if you're a nudist, like good for you. But I would say that being dirty is just, if you're walking around your house ass naked, the dust bites is biting you in your ass. You might have just mopped, but your floor gonna be a little dirty. Your feet getting dirty. You gonna sit on the couch. There's some crumbs from the cookies that you ate last night. Like, dirty. I just feel dirty. Something's gonna splatter on you.
Okay. Name me 3 songs that you like that people may not think that you were familiar with or you liked.
Blocklist by Little Durk. Is it Donkey? Donkey by Young Boy. 1942 by Meek Mill.
Are you a fan of R&B at all?
Oh yeah, I love my R&B.
Give me some of your top R&B artists that you frequently listen to.
I'm gonna probably botch it, but Leona Lewis, Mario. We're gonna put Beyonce up there. We're gonna put Usher up there. Pretty Ricky.
Still Pretty Ricky?
That's my phone full of Pretty Ricky.
Talk about your favorite era of music.
Just the 90s. The 90s going into the early 2000s up to maybe 2006 is just, it's that. You got actual rap where they're rapping with lyrical flow. You got R&B where they actually can sing and you don't have too much auto-tune. And then you got the music videos where they just all tie everything together. I miss the music video eras, the 106 and Park days.
What do you do for a profession now, if I may ask? Because I didn't ask that.
I'm a knock engineer, so I work for a software company.
If you weren't doing that, what would you be doing?
I was a double bachelor, so I would be doing something in sports broadcasting.
Oh, so you do like sports.
Yeah, I could talk to you about sports. I could talk to you about more than what I see.
Tell us about how you felt about the Super Bowl, briefly.
I didn't even care to watch the Super Bowl, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, because we saw this matchup literally not that long ago. We saw the exact same players. We saw the exact same teams. We saw the exact same outcome. I think that this year, and anybody that actually watches football, starting off, the Chiefs were not an A1 team. They were not a Super Bowl team. I still don't know how they became a Super Bowl team. But if you want to ask me, I think that Taylor Swift thing definitely profited the NFL in many ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now they're trying it again. You got Kim Kardashian and Odell.
If it works.
They're smart.
America, capitalism.
Yep, they're smart. They know exactly what to do. You're going to mix the Instagram models with the athletes, and now athletes are going back into style.
How do you feel about women's football?
I've never watched it, but good for y'all, some strong bitches. Y'all some strong bitches. Good for y'all. I do feel like, I will say that I feel like it could get, is it outdoors or are they like arena inside?
There's 2. There's a league that plays outdoors, I believe, and there's a arena with a short field.
See, I feel like the arena kind of low-key stinks.
I couldn't tell you.
Women.
You're very good and concerned about scent and smell. Do you always smell good, hopefully?
I just feel like that's a very contact sport. If you play football as a man, you know that you stink. Like when you're done with your game, you know that you stink.
Yeah, as a football player, everybody has different odors and
then
BOs,
as a woman, you already mix womanly body odors with those odors.
Oh, okay. Where did you get your sports background from? Where did that come? Childhood? Was it your mom or your dad? Your liking for sports?
It was just childhood. It was because my mom had us in the projects, so we was out playing football on gravel roads with no shoes on. Um, yeah, my dad ran track, but I didn't grow up with my dad, so I think that's where my athleticism comes from, would be my dad. But my intent to actually love the sport came from watching either my brothers play or just playing in the neighborhood as a baby kid.
Why just football?
I like hockey. I like contact sports that you're going to see a lot of contact. I like old school football. This new school football is pussy, but when football back in the day, when I first started watching football, football was football. You wanted to hit hard as hell. You wanted to be intimidating, and that was the football that I liked. And then hockey, I like hockey because they're gonna let you fight it out, and it's gonna be entertaining, and it's gonna have you on your seat, and it's gonna have you ready to go. And I don't like sports that you're gonna cry and be fouled for everything.
What's one of your favorite football games that you've seen in person or watched on TV?
Favorite. I mean, my favorite would definitely have to be when Green Bay beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl.
Who's your favorite team, if I may ask?
Green Bay.
Has it always been Green Bay?
It's always been Green Bay.
Okay. What as a child or as an adult and at this stage now made you form Green Bay, because you're not clearly from Green Bay,
Yeah.
you're in Colorado and other places. I always wonder how people form a different liking from a different team.
I was young. I was in like second or third grade, and my teacher, he was a guy. I really cannot remember his name, but every time and he was from Wisconsin, every time I did something good or got a star award, he would always give me this little Brett Favre bobblehead, and just from there, that kind of kickstarted it. And I watched them, and I had a gym teacher. I watched the Red Sox because of my gym teacher, because he used to just play it for us when we would play dodgeball in gym in elementary school, and it stuck with you. So I always remembered it from there.
If you're willing to share it, what is one of the most dangerous situations that you've ever been in?
Y'all, my ex got his Range Rover shot up at the strip club, and I was in the car. He was not in the car. That was the most dangerous situation I got myself into.
Go in more detail, please. You just said that real easy. Like people just go to the strip club with their partner and get their Range Rover shot up.
We were at the strip club, and he had 3 friends with him. I was in the passenger seat. He was in the driver's seat. 2 were in the back. And they knew the bouncers at the strip club. And these dudes walked out the strip club and were arguing with the bouncers. And one of them smacked the bouncer. So, of course, my ex was like, oh, no, like, let's fly. So they hopped out the car. They stood over there. They got a little altercation. One of them got knocked out. They ran to the car on the corner. And they over here helping up the people that, the bouncers. The people that got knocked out went and drove their car across the street to the parking lot across the street. If you're familiar with Colorado, it's the PTs on Evans. And lit the car up from across the street. I'm the only one in the car. It was joyful.
Where do you find these men? Where do you find these men?
I actually met him at the strip club.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Same place.
Yeah, same place that I almost died.
What kind of quality men are you looking for nowadays when you're ready for that selection?
Nowadays, I only date men with kids. So I am looking for somebody that, and not just a baby daddy. Like, you have to be an active father with your children, but you have to come with your own children. So I look for somebody with children, with stability, with a career, either in it, going into it, or you could be youngly retired. I don't want to say retired because then somebody's going to think I'm talking about like a 50-year-old, but like youngly retired. Just very well established and bring, I feel like both relationships, people shouldn't bring something to the table. Each relationship holder should bring their own table. So I feel like your table that you're bringing should be full. You should be full with your obligations, with your goals and aspirations, with your children, with your education. Don't come to me in your healing stage. Don't come to me freshly divorced. Don't come to me with a newborn. Don't come to me in the middle of a career change. Like, come with your shit.
What do you offer if you're asking for all of that?
I come with the same. I come healed. I did my rounds of therapy in a relationship, and I did my rounds of therapy after a relationship, and worked on who I needed to be, and saw what I was doing wrong as a partner to be a better partner. And I come open-minded. I come with my own career. I come with money. I come with my own kids. I come well equipped. Just don't bring your baggage that you can leave at the airport here.
What are your words of wisdom for all those people who dislike you and shame your name and speak on you and don't know you personally?
Y'all have really only seen the beginning because y'all really aren't about to like me in the next few months.
Talk about that. Don't throw shade. Talk about that.
People don't like me based on, I honestly don't know. I think that people don't like me based on the people that I date or the people that I have kids with. And it only opened me up to broader suspects or prospects or however you guys want to put it. The next person that you guys see me with will be elevated. It will be somebody, and they don't have to be of status, but you will see me with somebody that has elevated me completely in a 360 to what I worked on myself to become. And it's just, people don't want to see you do better. People want to see you do bad. So I think that they're going to be very mad to see me do better. If it so happens to be somebody of status, then they're going to be mad to see that. And I don't know. I don't know what it would take for somebody not to call me a gold digger, or why we call women gold diggers, because women date men of fame.
Not to get too personal, but a lot of times people will say, maybe it's the person. If they keep going with the same kind of people, maybe they're the issue. What do you have to say to that?
Oh, I'm the issue.
Okay.
Well, I'm the issue. And I say that because when you are with when you follow the certain type of person, you don't always get the same outcome. Each time you might get a different outcome. It might be a insanely large different outcome, or it might be a little different outcome, but the outcomes are going to be similar. Me, as we've seen me deal with 3 of the same type of men. Each one had its own different outcome. Clearly I have not fully learned, because if Odell Beckham hits my DMs today, I'm gonna be down with Odell.
Chill. I'm not promoting that kind of activity.
We're not, but I'm saying, like, I don't want to say that I haven't learned. It's just, it's gonna be the same outcome, and it's the same outcome that you'll get even if I wasn't dating athletes. If I was just dating any random person, your chances of getting cheated on or infidelity, depending on how you would describe it, or different types of abuse or different outlets, you're going to see it in every single person that you date. It's just that, how much of it are you going to see? How much of it are you going to allow? And where that pattern is going to take you. We could line up 7 bank tellers, and 3 of the 7 probably have beat their wives, or 3 of the 7 have probably cheated on their wives. And if you line up 7 NFL players, you probably might see 4. It's not going to be all 7, but you're always going to have a negative outcome in the type of person that you attract.
You know they're going to say you're for the streets, right?
Oh, I know.
Because you just went from, I want something good, to Beckham hits my DM, I'm out of here.
I mean, I wasn't going to take him serious, but at the same time, I'm not actively looking. Let me get that straight. I'm not on the prowl to look for something serious, and I'm also not on the restrictions where if something that catches my eye comes by for a flyby. I'm not like solely purposing myself to, oh, well, we're gonna want this type of man, and that's the type of man that we're gonna go get. And a lot of people think that I should have that mindset, but I remind myself, and I remind people, that even if I'm a mom, I'm 25. I've barely lived life. Like, I've barely been an adult. I don't classify myself as an adult at 18. I've been an adult since I was 21. So I've been an adult for 4 years. Expecting somebody who is just now figuring out who they are to also need to figure out their life partner at the same time is absurd. You have to let me know what I want and experience the bad and the good. And then when I'm ready, put everything that I've seen and all the pros and the cons, and then come together and put my pros and my cons together and what I need brought to my table, and then go for the perfect person. And that's going to take time. That's probably not going to happen in my 20s. I'm here to enjoy my 20s as a young single woman.
You have the never quit mentality, and I hope I don't get attacked for using that same line to reference you. Is there a particular individual or man that you're looking for that you're not finding, because you like very attractive, you say, men that are physical, Maybe it's not a football player.
And it's not. And I'm open to dating. I'm open to dating anybody. It's just that
Okay, let's say I'm a normal guy and I'm dating you.
Mhm.
And Beckham hits your line. I already know you're out of here.
That's not true, because if that was the case, like I said, when I was just sleeping with Coda's dad and Eli was trying to talk to me then, I would have took that bait and ran towards him. But I didn't. Like I stuck it out with what I was in right then and there. A lot of times them blue check marks, they good approachingly, but mentally and soulfully they're not good for you. And you have the more unattractive man, or the man that might be fully attractive and not make as much, but he's peaceful. And that's where I'm at in my life, is I'm looking for peace. And if I find somebody that's full circle, then I find somebody that's full circle. But if we're going for one or the other, now I'm not saying be homeless and bring peace, because you gotta bring your table. But peace is the ultimate end game right now.
Earlier in the podcast interview, you referenced that you just started. Can you be more clear what we should be looking forward to? Are you taking any warning shots at anybody, or what's going on?
It's always a warning to Mr. Apple, because I got plenty of shit up my sleeves for you. There's always a warning to Mr. Smith, because you don't ever want to get exiled from the NFL for the things that I know about you.
Let's go into more detail. And can you please say his full name about Apple and explain why you feel the way that you do and the grudge that you do have, if you're willing to share that?
Honestly, for Eli, I don't feel like it's a grudge. And people might look at it like it's a grudge. I look at it like, I don't get to have closure in our situation. So why do you? Eventually, hopefully I do get to find closure, and I'm looking for it. But right now I don't get to have closure. And I say that because it wasn't just a bad breakup. It wasn't just an abusive relationship. It wasn't just infidelity. All of those things were things that we probably could have came back from, and we probably could have walked away from, and we probably could have grown for. It was when you started to play with the life that we made together, the life that you asked me to bring into the world for you, then it was a different situation. My son doesn't get to live down his disabilities that his dad caused. So why should his dad get to live down what he caused his child? And in a sense, my son's a baby, and I'm going to advocate for him. It might be bitter, it might be spiteful, but every day that he wakes up and he has to have a bad day because of what this man caused, I'm going to make sure that he has a bad day. And we're going to go bad day for bad day. Unfortunately, when my son has good days, I'm still going to make sure his dad has a bad day, because we shouldn't have bad days at all. And time will heal. And as my son gets better and grows and becomes who he is, time will heal the wounds that we have open. But my relationship wounds they're still healing themselves. And it wasn't a relationship that was super easy to walk away from. It wasn't a relationship that we could just kiss goodbye. It wasn't a relationship where we just share a child. We're in a messy custody battle. We have a disabled child. We have so much that plays into it, to where it's just, at the end of the night, when I close my eyes, we don't get to have good dreams. So you shouldn't get to live this prospering, aspirational life while we're sitting here living a mom's worst nightmare.
Please don't be offended by this, but what is the fix? What would give you peace in that situation? Because your child is already here. Mm-hmm. What would give you a little bit more peace from his end?
I think that peace will come with time. Right now, we haven't got to the good parts, which is why I think that there's no peace. We're constantly living in bad parts of the situation. It's kind of like a car accident. When somebody gets in a really bad car accident, for the first 6 months, they're rehabbing. You take 2 steps forward with the doctors, and they come in and they tell you, oh, well, we found something else. So let's take away the 2 steps that you just made forward, and let's push you back 10. And that's where we are right now. We're in that situation. And so I feel like what it will take is it will take us to reach a positive, or to reach a final outcome, or just reach a graceful place for us to be like, okay, well, we're not living in stress and we're not living in fear no more. So let's work on this to find peace. I think we need to get there. And over time we'll get there. My son he's brand new. So I want to give us about 2 years of living in hell before I think that we'll be able to snap it together to move peacefully.
Have you ever thought about mentoring younger girls and maybe sharing your situation with them?
Not really, because I can't even mentor my little sister. And I say that because she follows a lot of the same things that I do in a sense. Not everything, or not everything the same, but going towards the same path. And I try to tell her and genuinelize with her what the outcome is or what I went through. Like me being young and having my first kid in college. My sister went through a similar situation. I tried to tell her, like, we're not ready for this. You're not ready. I've seen you. I watch you. I look at the jobs that you work. I look at your grades in school. Let's be mindful. Let's be blessed. She dates. She doesn't like athletes, thank God, but she likes more. She likes drug dealers. So then I try to talk to her about the type of man that you want, or what you should be looking for, or what you shouldn't accept. And she's hard-headed. These now found day of age of kids, they don't do talking to because they have social media. So they think that the people that actually go through the situations, they think that we're wrong because they might see something on social media, or they see the glamour in social media, or they see the drug dealer that gives his girlfriend $10,000 in cash, or the athlete that buys his baby mama a G-Wagon. So they think that these situations are just aspirational. They don't question what goes on behind closed doors, or what you're going to do when the situation turns.
Name me some positive things that you got going on in life right now. Let's switch this interview and podcast up a little bit. Give me some positive things that you're happy for in life right now.
My kids are all healthy, so that's an amazing thing. I'm building a house, so shout out to that. Positive. I'm not in a toxic relationship. I'm finding God. I feel like that's an amazing accomplishment. I don't know. That's really, I have a puppy. That's pretty positive.
Would you ever consider coming out with a book or a tell-all?
So I am thinking about coming out with a tell-all. I'm just trying to think of how to come out with it without getting me sued by probably all 77 names that I'm going to name drop.
Whoa. Hold on.
It's a lot, y'all.
How many names?
It's at least 77. If we open up my phone right now, you will see nothing but blue check marks.
Okay, open your phone right now, and I want you to name off the first top 10 names. Do it.
Name?
Yeah, the first 10 names in there.
Like certified names?
Certified names.
Okay. We have Mr. Marlon Taylor. Of course, we have academics because...
Take a screenshot of that right now for me. Take a screenshot of what you're looking at when you get a chance.
We have Josh Hawkins. Shouldn't. I just seen your engagement photo, sir. Lord. I actually don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's an African athlete. Ifute. He's an African athlete.
Okay, let's stop there. How do these men find you if your Instagram is only at a mark of like 10,000 when usually it's girls at a 1 million, 2 million, 3 billion? How do they find you with your number so low? Maybe you could help some other women out that think the higher number is how to do it. Maybe it's the lower number getting.
It's the lower number. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, because these men, and I've come to learn this from either dating them or just being good friends with them. They like to sleep with Instagram models for the satisfaction of, I fucked so and so. They don't like to date them. You'll see the women that are the fiancés.
I need that screenshot to be sent to me before I forget.
Which one?
The one where you're reading off the names, whichever one you want to pick.
I got you. It's a satisfaction thing. They want to be with the big booty BBL bandits
but you're not
for satisfaction. And or just say they did it, or to put it in the group chat. You'll see a lot of the fiancés, the baby moms, the girlfriends. They're gonna have, a lot of them have less than 10,000 followers. Your average, every few few sports, you're gonna have that it couple, which is like a Instagram model or a supermodel with athlete. But your average one is going to be, they are going to be the nobody women. They are going to be the women that are discreet, that you don't see out at the clubs. They're going to be those women. Your young rookies, they love them some body girls. So you'll see that. But
You said 77 names.
oh Lord, it's up there.
Can you give me some names? Just name off some names, not all 77. Just give me some names. I'm not going to ask you for screenshots again. I just want you to say the names.
We got Miles Bridges. We got Debo Samuels. We got Trey Dean. We got Brandon Marshall. We got, it goes on.
Oh man.
It goes on.
So when you say these names, these are attempts on you or bodies?
Oh no, these are attempts. These aren't bodies.
Okay. I'm making sure it wasn't 77. You got proof either through a screenshot or direct conversation. This just isn't cap, correct?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
he said bodies.
Do you get enjoyment out of this? Are you?
No, I don't, and I am not, and anybody that knows me knows that I am actually not social. I'm not social. I don't reply to text messages. I barely pick up FaceTime.
Chill. How are you not social and you have 3 babies by 3 superstars?
That's not being social though. That's being sexual.
Okay. I can respect that.
Like the quietest person in the room is usually the freakiest at dark. I'm not social. So when you see them, I don't publicly just send out like my nudes. Like we got some girl from Denver, Miss Selena, who will send that coochie to the DMs, and that's how she gets her bait and hook. But a lot of it starts out as conversations. A lot of it starts out as sports conversations, to be honest, or gym videos, just little things like that. And not every guy with a blue check mark that hops in my DMs to fuck or to things like that. I have genuine friendships and relationships outside of social media with a lot of athletes, but it all starts from that. And they're easy to find, ladies. They're easy to find. It takes 2 likes of a picture and they're in your DMs.
So was that Trap 101, we'll call it?
Yeah, that's
so you only got like 2 pictures and he's already looking? Married or not married? Does it matter?
Me personally, I don't go for married.
Okay.
Just because if I was a wife and I seen somebody try to talk about my husband, I'm gonna go crazy. But married has definitely tried to talk to Destiny.
Do you ever fear one of their partners trying to come after you because of their partner's actions behind their back?
I've never encountered a woman like that.
That's good.
But that comes with the game. And when you see these women be wives, you see that these bitches have been through a lot. And they're not stupid. They became wives because they stayed. They became wives because the messies have inboxed them. I'm sleeping with your man wants to fly me out. I'm with your man when he's in Miami or he's training. Those are all women who have stayed through infidelity, who enjoy either their position, who enjoy their salary, who might just genuinely love somebody. But those are all women that know what they get when you get with somebody like that.
So tell the people where they can find you if you're still on social media.
Y'all can find me on Instagram and Snapchat and on Facebook.
Will you please spell out your Instagram and your Facebook so people can find you?
Y'all can't find me on Facebook, but my hold on, let me go to my Instagram.
Why can't they find you on Facebook?
Extra locked down. My Instagram is D.ESSTANII.
You don't do OnlyFans or any of that kind of stuff?
Destiny does not do OnlyFans. So if you guys see one out there of me, report it. It's fake. Send me your $8 though.
Noted. Where do they send the $8?
You can send it to me on Instagram.
That has been another episode of the Never Quit Podcast, and here with Destiny. Hope you've got another perception of her personality and not have to judge her off what you've seen. If you still judge her, we probably don't give a fuck. And this has been another episode of the Never Quit Podcast, hosted by Quotes Jungle and Body Armor. Peace.
The Never Quit Podcast, sponsored and hosted by Quotes Jungle, with your host, Quote.